What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to give you a state of the market and stock picks for February 4th, 2022. So if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing and hit that like button before we get started. Now, yes, what you're seeing is Amazon. Absolutely, they destroyed earnings. There was a lot of people going against Amazon, including myself. I did not think they would do good. The past 2 quarters, they've done absolutely horrible. But they came out and they proved everybody wrong. Essentially, coming into close, that last hour in the close, even watching the option premium, all puts for Amazon for tomorrow's expiration were essentially up over 1,000%. And then all calls were essentially cut in half going into tomorrow. That's how heavily weighted it was going into this earnings. And so them coming out, the market was really watching them, and it really mattered what was going to happen to Amazon coming in this evening because of the horrible earnings that Facebook had. We didn't need Amazon to add essentially fuel to that fire and start pushing us down. So luckily they came through. Snap even came through and essentially made Facebook look really bad. So that helps tremendously. Ford didn't do so well, but just because of the whole EV side and what's going on with that, I think their forward expectations are heavily outweighed. Well, they've obviously been spending a lot of money trying to boost up their EV side. But this is what matters. Where are we going to land coming into tomorrow? And now if we jump over to the SPX, we did something I've been talking about is that I wanted us to actually come back and try to retag or get close to this 200. And we came pretty close today with all the fear going into Amazon earnings, even Apple. Some of the ones I've been holding essentially all day, they just started to sell going into the earnings. And so this was a much needed surprise that everybody needed because of the fact we weren't really sure what was going to happen with Amazon. Everybody was really expecting them to be really bad. Again, their track record over the past 2 quarters has not been good. So they wanted to really see what happened. Again, they pulled through. Now, where do we go tomorrow? Tomorrow, we're still under the wedge here on the daily, on this trend line. As you can see, the 50 and the 20. We did make it up to the 50, but we gapped way down today coming into the earnings. Again, a lot of anticipation that Amazon wasn't going to do good. And then there's a lot of, again, talk about the unemployment numbers tomorrow, which will be important because now they are essentially including people that have caught COVID that are employed. And so being said, that's going to add to the numbers tremendously for the unemployment side. So how much is that really going to weigh on the market is what's going to matter tomorrow. It's great that Amazon came through. It's great that Snap came through. But what really is going to happen is, can we really get over this wedge? That is what's going to kind of hold us down. I don't think the report will really do much. If Amazon surprises and pushes us back over, I mean, we really need to get over that. Essentially, that 4,600 mark would be fantastic. I don't think even with the gas from Amazon could push us over. That'd be great. I mean, we really have to see how tomorrow opens. But that report going into this week, I don't think it would have mattered. And I said that at the beginning of the week, I don't think it really would have mattered. But now that they get this new metrics on how they are gauging unemployment, it could be like historically bad numbers is what my concern is. And if it's historically bad, obviously that is going to give some kind of sticker shock to the market. Being said, I don't think any other data really matters at this point. It's really what Powell wants to consider on how fast, again, Q1, how fast is everything growing? Again, all the big tech is doing very well, but yet you have a lot of companies that are getting absolutely obliterated through the pandemic. But your big leaders, this is why I've been talking about staying with the big leaders, because they will pull through during tough times, and they will obviously gobble up a lot of these smaller companies. That's typically what happens around these not a depression, but around these areas of hardship, right? So ultimately understanding tomorrow we may get historical numbers. Again, I don't know how much, if I don't know how bad it's going to be. I know they kind of try to grease the skids with this whole new metrics. So that is still kind of up in the air. Is that going to push us back down and keep us under this wedge tomorrow? But if it doesn't, and we do break above, again, that essentially that's 4,600 mark tomorrow, I think we are in the clear. Again, we have a 5 points, essentially 5 points priced in for rate raises. And again, there's been a lot of talks from different Fed members that maybe we shouldn't go 5 points as far as the first one, which would even add more fuel to the fire for the bulls to come back and start pushing up. So there's a lot of still moving pieces that are going on here. And then again, we got a new piece of information yesterday as far as metrics. So as you can see, things change all the time, especially when the market is so sensitive to what the Fed is doing at this time. So 1 minute you can be extremely bullish, and then you get a piece of news, and then it just makes turns the sentiment of the market bearish extremely fast. Again, so I think Amazon really will help with that. Snap will help with that. It will start boosting stuff back up. The report, again, in my mind, it's really not going to matter. But if we're going to have historical numbers, anytime it's historical or have some kind of impact, it really depends. If we can gap up above this and then we get those numbers and they're bad, the market might be like, that's great. It's whatever. It might actually just make it to the point to where the market's like, okay, well, Powell can't raise rates now because the numbers are extremely bad. So that may be more bullishness. So really it depends. It's not you or I's opinion on what happens about it. It's really how the market's going to take it. So being said, it's still always good to have a thesis. In my opinion, it's still always good to know the events that are playing at hand, so you can know when to take risk on and off during those times. But ultimately, we have to see how tomorrow opens. Again, the report will be before open, so it'll be at 8:30. So you'll get that before open. Again, hopefully Amazon has enough gas in the tank to help push the market back up over some of these levels would really help. Again, kind of hoping for that tag back on the consolidation area. We didn't get that. We came close enough. A lot of times you'll get close enough and then the market will just pop up. So really looking for that break tomorrow. As far as Bitcoin goes, again, it's flirting with it right here. I think if Amazon does well, if those job numbers come out really bad and then there's no tapering, right? You have to see how the market digests that. We could get a break here over the weekend, which is something I talked about earlier in the week. If we do get a break over this wedge on the daily, I think we're going to start running again. Again, it's going to be a slow chop up because all the old support is now resistance. So now we got to break through all that stuff. So we'll get some chop through that. And then again, we'll get the volatility whenever the Fed come out and they talk about inflation and stuff like that. And anytime the word comes up, inflation, the market jumps all over the place. So as far as tomorrow's Friday, tomorrow's take profit Friday. So essentially what's going to happen, again, there's a lot playing out. So pre-market, my pre-market prep, if you don't follow me at Hemi 137, I always give a pre-market in the morning, kind of disclose what I'm looking at, how I feel about the market, to kind of help prepare you for what's going on and what I'm looking at, because a lot of different times, again, or the overnight session changes a lot of things very fast. New pieces of news, whatever the case is, and the market can completely change from that point. Like a ship could be stuck in the canal and then supply issues, and then the market just sells because of that. So there can always be a black swan in there somewhere, and this doesn't always happen, but it's always a possibility. So Tesla is one watching tomorrow. My opinion, with the way things are playing, we might start wedging in here. If we don't break above on the SPY with the help of Amazon, I think we're just going to play this tight wedge here. It could actually lead us into Powell in his next visit with the Senate. I don't think we're getting any more answers there, but what it does provide us is we have the beige book, I think the following day or something like that, that provides us details into what happened last FOMC meeting. And then people will be able to gauge Powell's mindset and try to determine where he's at going forward. Again, I do think the whole report tomorrow might play into it. Again, if it's really bad, it might be really bullish for the market because that will stop Powell from tapering, possibly, even though they said they were stopping the tapering, which I think they still will, only because of the fact that we're seeing in the earnings that the big techs are still doing well. But I think it's more so looking at rate raises and how that plays out. So that being said, tomorrow, if we do get a gap up over this, if we get back over the 20 monthly, we've been really struggling to get over this, the 20 monthly, but I think if we could break above that tomorrow, if we can get enough gas to get that, I think we can start ripping up on Tesla. So that's one I do want to watch. The premiums on Apple have been pretty crazy. I think some of the other real good ones for tomorrow, obviously you'll have Amazon. Amazon will be, as long as the market holds, Amazon will really be one to watch going into tomorrow. The premiums are going to be really jacked up after this move, so you have to see where it opens tomorrow. But just like Google, just wait for the pullback and see where it goes. Again, these monster moves like this, people are going to be taking profits, so this might even be in half by tomorrow before pre-market. And then look at chips. Been talking about chips a lot. They start getting some fuel back here tomorrow. These can start really ripping back up. Again, they've done really well. You got NVIDIA, who's still got another week and a half before their earnings. Start doing some preparation for this. They'll actually have earnings in the same week as Beige Book and stuff as well, I believe. So, but again, I think the chips are definitely going to be doing well tomorrow. Again, you have a lot of resistance here, but it is holding this 244 mark. So if it does hold this 244 mark tomorrow, look to possibly get in this, and you should get a clean shot to 260. Really, it's going to be hard to say how things are going to be opening tomorrow because there's a lot that's going to happen between now and then with Amazon pushing up and with the report first thing in the morning. So you want to kind of look at your laggards. I think another big one to watch tomorrow is probably Shop. It is already starting to push. It's going to get that sympathy move from Amazon. Their earnings, I believe, is not next week, but the week after that. So if this does open above essentially the 953 mark, we'll want it back over the 200. If we can break back over the 200 tomorrow and retest this, as long as the market is holding, I think this can make a move back up as well. Again, you want to watch that 1K mark. Again, that psychological level. You want to get over that. But if we could break that, then this thing can really let loose. A lot of these ones have really been holding back can start letting loose. UPST is another big one I like that's been really held down all the way down to 100. So I like the fact that it was actually consolidating today. Something I want to watch tomorrow. If we could break it back above this 1261, 112.61 mark tomorrow, that would be great. I think this can start making its move back up as well. Their earnings, I'm not really sure when their earnings are on the 15th. So we got about another week and a half for that as well. So we got some really big earnings still coming up. You have to be aware of that. Yeah, I think things will be good from this point on. Like I said, that report tomorrow, I don't think will weigh. It may actually be a more positive than a negative tomorrow, especially if they put in the COVID numbers. Maybe Powell was looking for this to give him an excuse. Again, this is just a theory, but maybe Powell was trying to price in this metric so he can push rate raises further down the road. Could be very much a possibility. Maybe that's why all of a sudden yesterday they dropped that news. So that could be what's going on there as well. But one thing to watch too is I'm not a huge fan of Facebook now, especially now that they're rebranding. I think that will actually probably, like I said, it'll probably stay at the lows here for a while. I don't expect a lot out of Facebook until we actually get an earnings saying that, you know, they've finished things, but and got things back on track. So we got a whole other quarter. I think you're probably just going to want to let this just sit. It's been dying to try to make it back to 400. It's been floating around the 300 for such a long time, and it had obviously a horrible earnings. I don't think this is really going to do too much moving forward. at least till the next quarter. We gauge it off of every quarter and see how they do, but I don't expect the price ranges like it used to run to really be happening with Facebook for a while. But if you stay with chips, like I said, QCOM is being really good. It's been playing this range essentially at this 175 mark all the way up to the 192 mark. This could be a good possibility tomorrow. If it does, this would be a big one tomorrow. If it does break this 193 mark, if we get a candle, an hourly candle that opens above this tomorrow, this could actually start getting price discovery. It had tons of upgrades. And again, I think the biggest reason it had this dip was because of Facebook. The whole market struggled here, but it's holding really well. And so I think my number one tomorrow is probably going to be QCOM or any of the other chips. I think will do really well. MU's actually been doing really well too. It's been holding as well. In the video, like I said, it broke out, but obviously sold off because of not really quite sure why it's been selling off. It might have had some news. That looks like it's popping right back up. So nonetheless, those are my biggest picks for tomorrow. Is QCOM is probably my first one. Again, I like Google. I like Amazon, Shop. So look for sympathies. So even though Shop would be a good one, the premium is probably jacked up on that one. Etsy could also be a really good one as well going into tomorrow. And it's been really beaten down. Again, we have to see how the overall market sentiment is tomorrow. If it's good, then we should start pushing back up. At least I think we can get another good couple days of a push before we go into Powell here in about another week and a half. And then at that point, it's going to be a toss-up to kind of determine what's going on. Again, you're just going to get a lot of information. Nothing's going to really happen, but it will bring volatility. You might get some more choppiness going on. So just be mindful of that. But if you've made it this far, I know I've kind of rambled through this whole video, but there's just a lot of moving pieces here. Just trying to be informative as I can about what's going on. Again, a lot of it doesn't make sense because there's still a lot that is uncertain. But once we know for sure, then we can hopefully go back up. I'm still very bullish on the markets. The Amazon helped, even though I didn't think it would do very well. I'll admit that, but we'll see. We'll see how the market opens, and we'll see where we are tomorrow. Again, pre-market prep call. Check me out on Twitter, and I'll drop that in the morning, and we'll see where we go from there. All right. If you made it this far, drop a like button, and I'll see you guys next time.